radiator drain pan. What do you got going here?
Radiator drain pan. Okay.
First thing I'll do is pull the reservoir off. They say this clip is supposed to be reusable, but I would use a new wire clip every time. And you don't necessarily want a regular hose clamp there, because if you do get too much pressure going on, you want that to break away. Whatever this wire was an aftermarket heater, so your Honda probably won't have this in your way. Oh, and I don't either. The drain plug is a wing nut, and it's right here. If you get to that side, you can't see it. You just kind of find it with your pliers. Sometimes, if you're He-Man, you can get it with your finger. But have the pliers ready just to be safe. So it is a pressurized system once you hit the cap. This one's not too bad, but it's close to pure Chinesium. This part starts to fail, the caps don't fit right. They don't make OEM radiators anymore, so it's kind of a weak link in the system these days. You can't get a good radiator, so it's best to get yours rebuilt if there's any hope for it. Even though it was nice and shiny when it was new, it's only a couple years old and it's already probably not running as efficiently as it was. It's a little easier to do this if the engine's warm, and all these hoses will be hot, but they still kind of seal themselves to the system. You have an upper and a lower radiator hose, so I'm getting the upper one off now. Again, if you're doing your radiator, you should do this hose and then save the old one in your trunk. Now if you blow something on the road, you got a decent backup and a good one on your rig. These are Honda OEM clamps, still in really nice shape, and you can see the Honda Yamashita, which sounds too much like piso shit. Matsushita sounds too much like a piece of shita. So I think they got their names wrong in the translation on that, but they did make a quality product. While I've got this coolant pan out, I'm trying to do as many of these fittings as I can and catch all this crap. Coolant no good for dogs, pets, cats, birds. So as soon as we're done here, we're going to dilute the ground 100 to 1 with water and make sure we're safe. We're going to store our coolant properly. We're going to get it out of our hair fairly quickly, not leave a pan of it kind of sitting around just to kick or trip. Oil's oil, and it's nasty and slimy, but coolant is toxic. And again, we're going to be pulling the wiring harness, so anything I see now to make my life easier, I'm getting undone and out of our hair. So that was our heater hose, was the small one we pulled off, comes from our heater core. And then the large one that's left is our lower coolant hose. It's our clutch cable, we can get it out of the way. We're not going to be moving this car again. Winter. And so, yeah, all these coolant hoses tend to become one with their fitting. And so you want to make sure as you're dripping down that you're not squeezing the fitting closed while you're trying to twist the hose. Like if you clamp down on that too hard, you could have crushed the nozzle. So it's kind of a happy medium of what it takes to get the hose to come off and still be gentle to your little friend. Where the radiator is. One last plug that holds it to its fan, the cooling fan. And just to help our cars a little, again, I'm going to come through with water and hose it all down, but just to get the slime out of the spots. The OEM radiator takes up more space, and you almost have to do the fan, pull the fan first to get the radiator out. But the aftermarket thing is so much smaller and cheaper that you can do this phase after the radiator comes out. The cooling fan. The car did not have AC. There'd be a condenser fan on there too if it did. Now we got to get dirty, so that's about as far deep as you can get into the engine with those basic tools. The next phase here would be to get the manifold off. smog control map sensor, evap sensor. This would come out, this will come out of our way. And now we're just looking at our engine mounts. So we got 1, 2, 3, and there's one down there, 4. So to get the whole engine and transmission out, we've cleared ourselves a pretty good path. Now I would want to jump into the interior, make sure everything's kind of disconnected from the interior and start the process there so we can kind of meet once the wiring and everything gets out of our way. So, but yeah, that gets you through the front clip of a Honda Civic Wagon all the way through the radiator.
Sweet.
I guess I'll pull these lower radiator mounts as my last thing since I had the uppers already pulled, and that'll be the sense of closure per se then on the radiator. Well, you got the radiator out, you would want to inspect it. These will rust out worse than the upper ones, just because of where they sit on the car. They collect moisture, dirt, gunk. Knowing that, when you're at the car wash, pay special attention to up in there and try to get the dirt and dust out of those guys.